After hearing in last week's Parsha, V'lo shamua Moshe mikotza ruacho me'avodah kasha, how Am Yisrael did not have sufficient belief to follow, to heed the words of Moshe Rabbeinu, this week's Parsha finally brings Am Yisrael back into the picture, as they're given mitzvot, particularly the mitzvah of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem Rosh Chodashim Rishonu L'Chodshei Hashana, empowering them, Lachem, within the realm of Kedushat Hazman, followed by the mitzvah of Karban Pesach and ultimately Matzot. But as they hear the mitzvot of Karban Pesach with the Milah Mancha, with the repetitive verbs and words of Bayit, Selavet Avot, Selabayit, reminiscent of the way that the stories began with the stories of a bat in Perek Bet. Now we hear 8 times the story of a Bayit, being able to qualify our home with a Kedushat HaMakom, with the sanctity of space, and lastly, as Am Yisrael leave Mitzrayim, the Kedushat HaGuf, with the mitzvah of Brit Milah, as Yecheskel teaches us, Amar lach b'damai chayi, Amar lach b'damai chayi, with the blood both of Karban Pesach that qualified our home as a place of sanctity, and the blood of the Milah that qualified our bodies as those of sanctity, in addition to the dimension of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, the dimension of Kedushat Hazman. Now we're ready. Now we're girded with mitzvot to leave Mitzrayim. What the Torah is teaching us is that in every stage of Geula, we have the opportunity of either remaining by the sidelines, being passive participants as we observe, as we watch, as we bear testimony to the Shvatim Gedolim, to the Nisim and Niflaot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu performs, or we can be the ones to write history together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We can be the ones on our own merit who leave Mitzrayim, who are going to be active participants. The Torah tells us that that's exactly how we're going to leave. We're going to be given an opportunity to finally come from behind the curtain and finally play that active role. This, to a certain degree, is what Moshe Rabbeinu already tells Paro at the beginning of the Parsha. When Paro says, you can finally leave, just leave your mikneh, leave your taf, leave your cattle, leave your flock, and leave your children here. And Moshe Rabbeinu responds, V'anachnu lo nida. We don't know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. We don't know how many sacrifices we're going to have to bring before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the beauty behind Moshe Rabbeinu's response is really one of V'anachnu lo nida. We don't always know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. But ultimately, as we say in Tachanun, based on Divrei Hayamim, every single day, V'anachnu lo nida. We sit down and we are passive because we don't always know what Hashem wants. But then we get up because we realize in Parashat Bo, Ma na'aseh. We know that there's what to do. We're going to stand up and we're going to keep going. We're going to continue to observe mitzvot with our bayit, with our guf, with our time. And that, be'ezrat Hashem, is what's going to not only activate us, but empower us. V'anachnu lo nida ma na'aseh. We know that there is what to do. The same we say every day, Tzor Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael. Hashem says, I can take you out. I can certainly redeem you, but it should be be'ezrat Yisrael. Hopefully, as we requalify ourselves as a home, as a bayit, as we sanctify ourselves, particularly this week, the week of Rosh Chodesh Shvat, and as we remember the mitzvot of the guf as well, will not only be ready for Geula, but we will write history together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as even during the dark times that we don't know what lay in store for us, Ma na'aseh, be'ezrat Yisrael will be zoche for Geula once more. Shabbat Shalom.